check it out.
Hey YouTube, it's time to check it out. We're going to check out Nunchuck lesson number 11. Now normally in all my other videos I've gone through all the techniques that I've done from the very beginning, but I believe I'm at a point right now that if you want to know what they are or if you've seen them, then I would suggest that you go back to my playlist and find the ones that you're interested in and get a more detailed explanation on how those techniques are performed. Some of these ones that I'm going to show from here on are going to be built upon those. So when you see them, if you don't understand them, then go back and try to learn those before you go forward. This next one is actually a technique that I learned a long time ago, and I didn't even know what to call it, to be honest with you. Thanks to some YouTube people, specifically Sifu Cuddle, thank you Sifu Cuddle, he named this thing a reverse flower. And I do like that name. And it kind of looks like a figure eight, but it's not. And I'm going to try to explain it. And it's a little difficult to explain. So as we get into it, it's going to take practice and it's going to take some experience. And you're just going to have to basically do it to get the feel for this. What it is, it kind of resembles a figure eight here, but we're going to add another twist on the back side right there, and that's where the reverse flower comes from. So it's like a downward figure eight at hip level, and then when it comes on the downswing on the back, you're going to turn your wrist and flip it back up and around, and then back into the figure eight, like this. And it's just a continuous motion, back and forth. So you don't go back into a figure eight, you just continue this reverse flower as many times as you want. Now there are a couple of ways to come out of this when you do this reverse flower. One of my favorites, and I think the most effective, is to come out of it when it's coming out and you're making this upswing, to bring that up and then come around into a horizontal strike type of motion. So we're going to do this reverse flower, come up and around, back behind if you like, other hand, reverse flower, horizontal strike, around, horizontal strike. Now where you want to start this is totally up to you. I've done it from here, but once I turn here, it comes down, and since I have it behind me, I'm able to go into this reverse flower. But there are a couple other ways. One way is off the upward figure eight. This is one of the motions that I have shown in a previous video, and if you don't understand this upward figure eight, then I do suggest that you learn this before you get into this. So you have this upward figure eight going, and as it's coming down on the outside here, it's already in a motion, a downward motion. Then you can bring it down. You bring your arm straight down, and I have also heard this referred to as an elevator motion on another YouTube video. Thank you, Ken Hill. I do appreciate that because I wouldn't have known what to call that. Upward figure eight. As it comes to here, you're dropping down, and the motion is going to continue into the reverse flower, like this. And then as it comes up, upward figure eight, drops down, reverse flower. Upward figure eight, reverse flower. And you can also use the downward figure eight doing the same thing. Downward figure eight, and as it's coming down on this side, turn it as many times as you want. But here, you're going to add the same twist like you do here to get up to here and go back into your figure eight. Now, right now I'm showing how to use an upward figure eight and a downward figure eight multiple times to get the feel for it. But what I would like you to try to do is do the upward figure eight one time, down, one time, down. So it's just one motion. And the same thing with the downward one. This will look a little confusing. It really will. And it'll probably be a little confusing to start with. The big thing is that when you're doing this motion right here, get it to clear your elbow. Okay, so get it to spin around the back. If you come too close and try to do this, you're going to come up on your elbow. You don't want to do that. First, you start with the reverse flower. You get that down. And if you have those other motions, which is the upward figure eight, which is a recent technique that I showed, and the downward figure eight, which I've showed from the very first video, then you've got the techniques to be able to do this. Reverse flower, upward figure eight, and even from this upward figure eight, you can do the strike. And then drop it down, reverse flower. One of the things I like about this reverse flower is that it's kind of sneaky. It comes in from behind, and you don't really know what it's going to do. And then at the last moment, it can come around and make that strike. Now, we haven't talked too much about strikes, but this one just works out that way. And there is no other thing to call this but a strike. So we have the reverse flower, upward figure eight, elevator down, and then the downward figure eight, catch up. However you want to work everything in, it doesn't matter at this point. This is one that you need to take your time with and get this motion down. Go slow with it, just enough to keep it nice and smooth, so that when you feel the motions going up or down, you have the momentum that you need to continue the technique. And that's why in the beginning, if you have to do more than one figure eight, upward or downward, to understand where the break is, that's fine. It's a cool set of techniques. I hope you have fun practicing them. Add them to everything else. But once again, if you haven't learned the upward or the downward figure eight first and you don't feel good about it, then you can learn this by itself. That's no problem. But you need to get comfortable with these other motions to be able to really utilize the technique and the combination in the way that I showed you. And this even includes that single spin that we showed from the very beginning. That's part of this. And coming around that to the strike. Okay, from a down or for a reverse flower to the strike. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you take the time to practice it, and that you put in the effort that it takes. It's going to take a little bit. Have fun with it, and we'll see you on the next one. Check it out.